on Facebook and our members who are watching us. Thank God for you. Amen. And we pray that this ministry, these messages are being blessed to you every Sunday. Amen. May the Lord bless you real good. Quickly, if you have your Bible, turn with me to Psalms 73, the 73rd number of Psalms 73. You have it, say I got it. Don't have it now, you might consider Sunday school. Corporate prayer. You don't have it now. Psalm 73. These words are recorded, beginning with the verse and several of the following verses. One of my favorite passages of Scripture says, King James Version, truly God is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bonds in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are run out to them. And they say, how will God know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me, until I went into the sanctuary of God. Then understood I therein. Amen. Amen. When good things happen to bad people, when good things happen to bad people, they be seated in the Lord's church. Pray with me. This would be rather sermon that won't be long unless you sit there quiet like you are now, and you can stretch it out. Depends on you. Amen. But we want to try to expedite it as much as we can. When good things happen to bad people. Over 20 years ago, noted Jewish rabbi by the name of Harold S. Kushner wrote a best-selling book entitled When Bad Things Happen to Good People. In this classic work, Kushner investigated the age-old problem of the suffering of the good. But on this preaching occasion, I want us to look at the other side of this coin. For not only do bad things happen to good people, many times good things happen to bad people. And so the author of this psalm confronts the perplexing situation of good things happening to bad people. Notice, if you will, that the psalmist starts off by acknowledging that the Lord is good to Israel and those of a clean heart. Yet, in spite of this, the psalmist is a bit perturbed over an alarming tendency that he has observed in his life. He was so distressed by this tendency that he admits to us that his feet almost slipped. But he was envious at the foolish when he saw the prosperity of the wicked. He found in his observation that the wicked seemed to live long and die a peaceful death, while the righteous live and die in calamity. Oh, my brothers and sisters, I can identify with the psalmist. Sometimes it seems to me as though only the good die young. Are you with me? While the wicked seem to live forever. Doesn't it seem that way to you sometimes? Those who are trying to make a contribution to society are cut down all too early, while the parasites seems to live long and prosper. Oh yeah, I can identify with the psalmist. But not only did the wicked appear to prosper long and live long, but according to the psalmist, they seem to also be exempt from the troubles that are common to men. It looked like they were living on flowery beds of ease, while the rest of humanity barely eked out a living by the sweat of their brow. You know how it is. You know how it is. Here you are, trying to do the right thing, working 2 jobs and a half, trying to make ends meet while your neighbor is selling dope, collecting a welfare check, hitting the lottery or trying to hit it, and you're up at 6, out by 7, while your neighbor don't get up until noon. He's driving a Lexus, a Mercedes, while you have to pray for mercy, hoping that your Yugo will even crank. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, I can identify with the psalmist. I know what he's talking about when he talks about the prosperity of the wicked. But the psalmist tells us that not only did it seem that the wicked were living long and prospering, not only did it appear that they were living large and dying easy, but their lips were dripping with arrogance and blasphemy. It seems as though they got whatever their hearts desired, and they boasted of their wealth and prosperity. They taunted those who lived righteous by saying, if your God is so good, then why are you so poor? You say that he's blessing you, well, where's your Rolex? Where's your Benz? Where's your Bentley? Where's your condo? Where's your split level? How much cheese do you have in your account? How big is the roll in your pocket? How does God know? Yes, these are the questions that the prosperous wicked will ask. And if you're not careful, if you don't watch yourself, brothers and sisters, you'll find yourself asking the same question. If God is so good, then why is my money always funny? My change is always strange. If God is so good, if God has the thousands of cattle, or rather on thousands of hills, then why don't he at least let me have a calf? Or the least he can do is allow me to eat a couple of steaks twice a year. Yes, brothers and sisters, if you don't watch yourself, being envious of the prosperity of the wicked can be detrimental to your faith. You hear me? This is what happened to the psalmist, who happens to be Asaph, not David. Listen to what he said. Behold, these are ungodly who prosper in the world. They're ungodly. He says they increase in riches. Oh, I don't know if y'all see what I see, but I see this every day. Verily, he says they increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocence. Are y'all talking to me? In other words, he says, I joined the church for a reason, and now I don't get in church what I used to get. Well, you ain't the Lone Ranger. None of us get what we used to get, because around this time, back in the day when the preacher was preaching, half the church was already shot. And the preacher wasn't doing it, but working his ear. Amen. Talk to me, somebody. So this guy says, I did it for naught. I got saved for nothing. I could have been still balling. I could have still been a player. I could have still been doing my thing out in the world. He said, I have cleansed my heart for nothing. In other words, he said, I straightened up and started living right for nothing. Y'all with me? He says, I did it for naught. I could have still been jitterbugging. I could have still been cussing and fussing. I could have still been playing and laying. And I did it all in vain. I washed my hands in innocence. I washed my hands for nothing. All day long, I've been plagued and chasing every morning. Stuff seems to be messing with me. If it ain't one thing going on with me, it's something else. Can anybody identify with this guy? Every morning he says, if it ain't one thing, it's another. If it ain't this, it's that. You know some people like that. Matter of fact, you know some people who have never darkened the church house door and yet seem to be doing better than you. Never think about the church, never go to the church, but yet they seem to be doing a whole lot better than you. And if you're not careful, it will cause you to get weak in your belief in God, in your faith. If you keep paying attention to fools and wicked people, it will drive you away from the church. That's what's happening. That's what's happening to this psalmist. He said, man, every morning I get up and look over across the street, down the street, and I see my neighbor who never go to church. Matter of fact, they always got something nasty to say to their neighbor. They use God's name in vain. They are always washing their cars on Sunday, on their lawnmowers on Sunday. And they use God's name in vain on Sunday. And every morning I have to see this. I consider throwing in the towel and saying, to hell with them church folk.
Have mercy. Have mercy.
That's what he said. He said, I cleaned my act up for nothing. Here you are at the same time, you at church. Every time the door's open and you barely got eye water to cry with. You're praying in the prayer meeting for the Lord to meet your needs. And I told you last Sunday, that's not the problem. God is not interested in meeting your need. He's interested in giving you your seed. Y'all ain't in here. But I pray if we want God to meet our need while your neighbor is getting his or her needs met anyway by any means necessary at the crack house, at the strip joint, it doesn't matter. Yes. Sometimes it looks like the hellish are enjoying heaven while the heavenly are catching hell. Because of seemingly inequities of life, that is sometimes, like the psalmist, we may feel that our religion is in vain. Don't be ashamed of it. You've been there. We felt sometimes that in our lives, our being saved and being a member of the church is all for nothing. Oh, but hold up, brothers and sisters, before you boycott God, before you throw in the towel, let me try to help you. Don't think about leaving God. If anything, you ought to be trying to get closer to Him now. This ain't no time to be an apostle. No, you don't need to fall away now. You need to fall in. Not out. You need to fall in church. There's too much going on now. And the only reason that you feel the way you do is because you're listening to too many fools. You're listening to too many people who are wicked, who does not have God's interest at heart at all. You got to learn how to cut some people loose. I've seen people mad at me for nothing. I don't invite anybody that I know about. If I have, then I'm sorry. But there are people that have been mad at me. And their friend that they sit next to or they go to church with didn't know what her problem was or their problem was, not at the time. And not only did she leave, but the other she left too. See, that's what happens. You gotta watch people. Everybody in church got some network. Everybody in church. Everybody in church got somebody that listens to them. I don't care how wicked you are, I don't care how unholy you are, how lost you are. Everybody in here has influence over somebody. It may not be much, but it's enough. Do I have a witness? But you got to learn how to stand on your own feet, make your own decisions. Don't let other shaky, flaky people in church to destroy your relationship with the God of Israel. God been too good to me to allow some 40 church Negro to keep me from going to church, doing what I'm supposed to do. Y'all know I ain't lying. I've seen whole families leave the church because of something the preacher said. I'm getting out of there. I'm going over here. Thoughts of church. When you get over there, guess what? When you discover you can't work nothing there, and then here you are, you keep your suitcase packed. There are people in church, they keep their bags packed just in case they don't like what the preacher got going down. Or anybody else for that matter. But mainly the preacher. Because if anybody leaves the church most of the time for any other reason, it's because of what that old preacher said or what he did of what I heard. Hello?
Have mercy.
But you need to decide today that life is too precious. I'm not going to allow, I don't care how close you are, I don't care how long we've been friends. I got too much invested in God. I got too much invested in the church. I'm not going to let you, with your unsaved, holy, looking self, drive me away from the church. Ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Gonna have a witness. That's what we got to determine and decide in our mind. I'm going through, no matter what others may do. Let me close this. He says, the psalmist says, he first tells us of his frustration when he does that, and then he says that his feet were almost gone. What do you mean, Pastor? His feet were almost gone. Not that, he didn't have an amputated, a nobody broken his feet. Simply means that he almost slipped. Anybody here ever almost slipped? There's nothing. Everybody every now and then almost do something. But the almost is not the part that gets you in trouble. It's the doing. But this psalmist says, my feet almost slipped. And I'm trying to figure out what is it that almost took him over the edge. I don't know about you, but I've been there. Oh, there have been times when my feet were almost gone. Because when I look at people who claim that they are saved and act the way they act when they are not around certain people, it makes it hard to stay in that same place. So I'm trying to find out what it is that kept him from going over the edge. Well, I don't have to guess. He tells us in the last verses of our text. He says, he says, when I thought to know this. In other words, I tried to figure it out, Sister Hester. Mother Hester, I tried to figure out why is it that the foolish and the wicked seem to prosper all the time. They seem to get rich without having to put forth any effort. They have no bands in their debt. They blaspheme the name of the Lord. They just seem to have it made even when they are gone. He says, I can't understand it. He says, oh, but here's the kicker. The only way that I was able to understand what was happening, the only way I was able to figure out why the wicked was wicked, and people do wicked things to other people, he says, I had to go to church. He says, the only way I could figure it out, I had to go back to church. Look at y'all looking at me and see your body. He said, the only way I was able to figure out why all these fools prosper and all these wicked people get over, seems like the rich wear righteous and the poor wear rags. And I don't understand why is it that I serve the Lord, I help my neighbor, I visit the sick, I clothe the naked, and yet I see all these people who got more than they'll ever need, seem to be just collecting, getting more. And he said it bothered me to the point that I almost quit the church. It bothered me to the point that my foot was almost gone. He said, I almost slipped. Says, when I tried to figure it out, it was too hard for me, Don. I couldn't understand it. It was too hard. I couldn't concentrate it. I couldn't understand it. It was too much for me to try to figure out. Oh, one day, I was reminded by my spirit, maybe if you went back to the sanctuary. Let me tell y'all something. You can learn some stuff in the church. If y'all don't sleep all the way through service. You can learn a lot of stuff in his proof right here. He says, until I went into the sanctuary of God, then I was able to understand why all of this stuff was happening to him. He didn't go to that friends. He didn't go to no nightclub. He didn't go to no psychiatrist or psychologist. He said, the only way I was able to figure it out and get some sleep at night is when I went back to church. Look at somebody and tell them you can learn something in the church. But you got to stay woke long enough. There's some stuff. The church is called the house of understanding. That's what Asaph said. He said, until I went into the sanctuary of God, I was able to understand. See, when you go to church, you can put things in their proper perspective. That's why a Christian, a true child of God, should not let anything, any little thing, shake your faith from center to circumference. Some of us have been in church 60 years and can't stand nothing. Can't even deal with a rumor. And a rumor don't slap nobody, don't hit nobody, but some people cannot deal with a rumor. You leave and go home because of what you heard. Y'all know about like that? Don't be scared. Yeah. He said it was only when I went into the house of God that I was able to understand why the wicked prosper. Seem to have no bands in their debt. They walk around every day, all day, using God's name in vain. In other words, cussing folk out. Using God's name. And here I am, been going to church all of my life. Here I am, struggling most of my life. Here I am, got 2 jobs and a half and still can't make ends meet. Here I am, go to church every time the door is open. Here I am. Every time the pastor says, I need this, I need that, I'm the first one to go in my pocket and give. And yet here I am. Barely making ends meet. Here I am. Can't hardly pay my mortgage, my car note. Here I am in church all the time. Oh, my brothers and sisters, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you hear. I don't care what you heard or what you see. Don't let nothing or nobody run you away from the church. Did you hear me? Don't let nobody run you away from church. It's a shame before God. People been in church 50 years and can't stand nothing. Can't take nothing. I mean, where's your spiritual maturity? You mean to tell me we still got 50 and 60-year-olds that's still on the bottle? Milk, Enfamil, Similac. When you gonna start developing? When you think something was wrong with your child, if they never grew, they eat, They do what babies do, children do. They get the proper nourishment, nutrition. But after 6, 8, 9, 10 months, they ain't wrong. It's time to go and get something checked out. Huh? If that's you, you've been in church 40, 50, 60 years, and you ain't growing. You need to go and get something straight. Huh? You need to get something straightened out. Something ain't clicking with you. Well, you know, that ain't my favorite preacher. Favorite? Any preacher ought to be your favorite preacher if they're preaching and teaching the Word of God. And that's our problem. We hung up on personalities. We hung up on who's doing it. We hung up on titles and people that, you know, who call themselves bishops and prophets and apostles, and we call them on name dropping. And can't no prophet, can't no apostle, can't no nobody get you into the kingdom of God but you. All they do is preach and teach Jesus. It's up to you to receive. And so when you boil it down, they ain't know no more than I do. They just got their way of doing it. I got my way of doing it. Hello? But can't no preacher give you salvation. Can't no preacher, no prophet, nobody save you but the Savior. I'm all off my notes, but y'all folk got quiet. Do I have a witness in here? He says, when I tried, oh, help me, Holy Ghost. When I tried to figure this out on my own, when I tried to figure it out on what was going on, he said it was too painful for me. But he says, then I went to the sanctuary of God, and I understood that they had a day coming, that their day was coming. I understood that the wicked does not last forever. So I have a witness. Many times we lose the proper perspective by looking at what appears to be reality in the lives of other people. A lot of people trying to keep up with the Jones. But they don't know that the Joneses is trying to keep up with the Smith. Hello? And then they don't realize that while the Joneses may appear to be prosperous in their new car, the fact of the matter is they cannot afford a decent meal because of the car note. Oh, y'all missed y'all shot. I'm out of here. Can I get a witness? You'd be surprised how many people are spending what they can't afford just to look prosperous. Spending what they can't afford, they want to look prosperous. See, y'all doing it, y'all struggling in front of the wrong audience. You know, that don't impress many of us. Come on, talk to me. And not a whole lot of people impressed the way you look. You're in the wrong crowd. You might need to be on MTV, on the videos or something like that. You know, people who watch the fashion and all this kind of stuff. That's what you in church. You're in the wrong crowd. Because y'all forgot that somewhere way back in the day, somebody said it was okay to come to the church as you are. We forgot that. Let me move on. He says, I almost slipped. And look, when you look at other people, don't trip because things are not always the way they look. Do I have a witness? What you see is not always the way it really is. No. But I'll tell you this, spending time in the church, spending time in the sanctuary will help you to maintain a proper perspective on what's really important in life. See, many people spend a lifetime trying to get rich in material wealth and ignore the prosperity of their soul. I'm out of here. Jesus says in Mark chapter 8, verse 36, what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose? Y'all see that? What shall it profit a man? Yes. If you gain the whole world and lose your soul. Yes. What does it profit? What good is it? They have all the money in the world, all the mansions, and what good is having all that stuff and lose your soul? Huh? And then he goes a little further and says, just in case you thinking that you can give something in exchange to get your soul back. No. He said, what can a man give in exchange for? So in other words, he's saying, once you sell your soul, once you give your soul to the devil, there's no amount of money in the world that can buy your soul back. Why? Because souls are not for sale. You can buy a body. Oh yeah. That's what they did to you in slavery. Yeah, when they took you from your mom and your daddy, somebody bought you because you were property. Somebody bought you your body. Somebody bought your spirit. But you can't buy a soul. So your soul must be the most important part of you. You know, man is comprised of body, spirit, and soul. Yes. Is that right? That's right. And I don't know why Jesus says this. What shall a man profit if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? So Jesus knows, and he's trying to tell us the most important thing that you ought to be concerned about now is your soul. We know we won't die. We know that the spirit, we know that life is going to end someday. This body is going to be going back to the earth. We know that. But what you ought to concern yourself about, where will your soul spend eternity? And just in case you spending all of your time working on the outside and getting to church late, because you can't find the right tone of makeup. You know, fixing up your body, the part that will not enter into heaven. See, some of y'all got that mixed up. Well, you know, we think that, well, when we get to heaven, you know, we put this on, we're going to walk around heaven all day. And we're going to fly around, you know. Not that stuff ain't even in the Bible. It just sounds good back in the day. You know what you going to do when you get to heaven? You're going to do whatever God tells you to do. That's what you're going to do. Come on, talk to me. But he ain't going to be concerned about the way you look. Now, that's a deep question. Because people ask the question, they've asked me, Pastor, well, we know our loved ones when we get to glory. The Bible talks about everything that has their own glory. Right? Well, we know, but see, when we say when we know, in our mind, we think about, well, so-and-so look the same. When we recognize them, there's going to be something about their walk. When we recognize that smile, come on. The Bible says flesh and blood is what we are. Will not enter into the kingdom. Well, Pastor, if flesh and blood won't get there, then what will? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world? And he didn't say and lose his body. He didn't say lose his spirit, lose his connection. He said lose your soul. That's the most important part of you is your soul. Because God has invested a little bit of Him in you. And that's how you became a soul. Because God breathed into your nostrils the breath of life. Before that breath of life hit you, you was nothing but an inanimate piece of dirt. No function. But when God gave you a soul, you hear? Thank God that Jesus put this on our plate so that we can understand it. He said you can work all your life. You can scheme, you can cheat, you can finagle your way to the top. You can get it any way you can get it, but when you get through getting and gaining, what is it that you will have prospered and then turn around and lose your soul? And who got enough money to buy your soul? What can you give in exchange for your soul? Nothing. You can't give nothing for your soul because your soul has already been spoken for. Your soul don't belong to you. It belongs to the one that breathed into you the breath of life. Y'all around here getting rich, getting broke, buying all this stuff, trying to enhance your body, trying to get this life such with this belly tuck and around here, trying to do this and everything about you, half the stuff you got on can come off and you're trying to get this straight and get that straight, looking good, and we want to be the head of the class and all of this, and when it's all over, when they move you across here, you just gonna be a good-looking corpse. You ain't all that. The cemetery tell you ain't much, because I don't care how popular you were when you were living, all of us, there's one thing everybody got in common, and that's death. One thing. Don't you spending too much time on this thing that is dissolving every day. Every day. Every day, every headache let you know that you're leaving here. Every time you go to the doctor says that you are leaving here. I wish I had some help in this house. What can a man give in exchange? It's like somebody, they sold down, and then you go back and realize what you've done and say, can I have it back? I'll give you whatever you want, whatever. You can't buy a soul. Trump ain't got no money to buy a soul. Ain't no Bill Gates, nobody got enough money to buy a soul. I'll tell you again, because souls are not for sale. They belong to the one who made you. That's why we got to try to be right and live right and do right with this body that we are familiar with. And if we do that with the body that we have, and then it will secure our souls a safe place in paradise. Gotta leave y'all. No amount can get your soul back. We try our best trying to make a living without even making a life. Amen. Go right there. Mama Neil used to say always, used to tell us all the time that you'll be dead a lot longer than you'll be alive. Wish I had some help. That was their way of saying that you're going to spend more time in the next life than you will in this one. That's good preaching. With that in mind, I close. Jesus said, a fool is one who makes all provisions for his life and none for the next life. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man. Yeah, I think I exit off right here. Brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Watch this. Because I have no room where to bestow my fruit. And he said, this will I do. Well, I will pull down my bones and build greater bones. And there will I bestow all of my fruit and my good. And I will say to my soul, thou hast much good laid up for many years. My Lord, wait a minute, let's go back up a little bit and see how selfish, this rich fool really was. The Bible said he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Come on and help me close. Yeah, because I have no room where to bestow my fruit. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater. And will I bestow all of my fruit and my goods. And I will say to my soul 11 times, this brother said, mine of me. And you know you're going to be with the Lord. You got to get the out of the way. It's all right. If you want to live right according to the word of God, you got to take you out of the equation. Go to the house of the Lord. Ain't going right. And I read in Psalm 37, I believe it said, fret not thyself because you're friend with me. Yeah, of the wicked and how they prosper because they will soon be cut down just like the green grass, and they gonna wither. Ain't gonna ride. Don't worry and don't lose no sleep because of the wicked. That day unnumbered. Ain't gonna ride. Don't worry about you driving a new car every year. Don't worry about that big coat. Don't worry about where they live. Don't you worry about how they live. If they're wicked, that day unnumbered. Ain't gonna ride. But I'm glad that I'm able to understand why all of this stuff is going on in the world, and that is because I made Jesus my choice. I made church my home. Ain't gonna ride. If church was good enough for my great-grandmama, then church is good enough for me. If church was good enough for granddaddy, church is good enough for me. If church was good enough for my mama, then church is good enough for me. Ain't gonna ride. Yeah, you can have this whole world. You need the door is open. Stay in the church. Anybody gonna stay with the church? Let me see your hand. If you're gonna stay with the church, let me see your wave. Tell your neighbor you can't run me off. You can't make me doubt it. I'm no too much about it. Yeah, the door is open. Stay in the church. You can understand things better if you stay with the church. Storm may rise, the wind may blow, but stay with the church. Or look at somebody again and tell them, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay with the church because I can understand people better when I'm staying connected with God. That's the reason why a lot of people don't understand what we're going through and why we're going through it right now. They don't understand COVID. They don't understand Corona. They don't understand Delta. They don't understand a lot of stuff. They don't understand why is it that Russia and the Ukraine are still fighting. People don't understand, but I think I got a hunch. I think I got a hunch. I think I've been informed. I think I know what time it is. What time is it, Pastor? It's time to go down. It's time to go down. It's time to go down, 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 down. Don't see. suggesting that you should have praise. No, not what I was alluding to earlier. Not suggesting that you should have praise, and God wants you to have things, but He don't want things to have you. You control the things, not the things the other way around. He wants you to have. Huh? Matter of fact, it's His good pleasure that we enjoy the kingdom. He wants us to prosper and be in health. So it's not that, but I was just trying to get over to you. Don't get so caught up with this material stuff that you forget about. You forget about Him. And that's where it all begins. Don't get caught up in all this glamour and glitter. Everything shine. They told us a long time ago. Y'all know this. Everything shine ain't gold. Some of y'all probably still got a green ring around your neck now because you know it wasn't. Maybe you didn't know it. But everything that glitters is not gold. Bible says, in all your ways be there with content. Paul said, I've learned how to be exalted. I've learned how to be abased. In other words, I know what it's like to be up. I know what it's like to be down. I know what it's like to be fooled. I know what it's like to mislead. He said, but in all of my ways, I've learned how to be there with content. Be content. I'm not saying just be stagnant, no minimum. Still reach for the sky. But if you don't have what you think you ought to have, be content with what you got. However, be content because there are a whole lot of people. If they can trade places with you, are you kidding me? If they can trade places with you right now, y'all sit up here, got to beg you to say praise God. Some of y'all been sick, almost died. Got to beg you to say hallelujah. You lost loved ones and get up in here. The church is the praise house. God lives in praise. He said, He tell you what He enjoys. He said, I like noise. I don't know about you, but He said, make a joyful noise. Now, if you're one of those sensitive people, then you need to go back there and sit with the ushers somewhere. But she said, no, don't worry about dead beats back here. Let us stay along with y'all. Bless you. We see there is none. Did you receive this message? If you did, put your hands together and give God a hand praise. God bless you. Amen. God